I think I caught my boyfriend trying to unalive me, but I'm not sure if it's all in my head. Posted by you/Ama04. I don't know if I watch too many crime shows or if I'm just paranoid, so I've come here to ask. Last week, I made chicken gnocchi soup. When it was almost done, I started helping my daughter with a school project. She got us both a bowl, and a few seconds later, my boyfriend ran into the room with a bowl and told me to eat the one he had. I told him it was all the same, and he insisted that he wanted mine because it had more chicken. Thinking back now, I don't know how he would know that, considering my daughter dished it out. My daughter took the bowl he gave me and said she would eat it. He yanked it out of her hand and said, "No, it's for Mom." I took the bowl, and he went to the living room. I continued helping with my daughter's project and told her not to eat the soup. About 20 minutes later, I walked into the kitchen to pour the soups out, and he was still eating his. He asked why we didn't eat any, and I said the cat got into it while we were waiting for it to cool down. He screamed, "What? Was it your bowl? Cats can't eat that." I told him it was only a lick, but he has been stressed out, watching the cat like a hawk, obsessive, even. His reaction was very weird. These accidents all happened before the soup incident, over the span of 6 months. It wasn't one after another in a short period of time. Since then, my emergency money has gone missing. I keep money hidden just in case. I lost my older sister because she wasn't able to escape a dangerous situation, and I literally swore on her grave I would never be in that position. After the soup incident, I went to get my money, and it was gone. It was hidden, and I changed the location every few months. I asked my daughter if maybe she found it, and that if she took it, I wouldn't be mad because I knew she couldn't have spent it. She said no. A few hours later, she told me she forgot, but the other day, she and my boyfriend got pulled over, and she saw my pink wallet in his glove box. I did not tell her which wallet it was in or that it was in a wallet. I decided to ask him if he found it by accident. He asked me why I was hiding a large amount of money, said, "You know you could never leave me," and laughed. He has never said anything like that before. I told him it was for my daughter's Christmas. He said no, he didn't find the money but could use his credit card for gifts. I didn't tell him about my daughter seeing my wallet in his car. Now, here are a few other things that have happened in the past few months that seemed random at the time, but now they don't. I have a severe allergy to latex. One day, we were about to have sex, and I glanced at the mirror we have by our bed and saw the condom wrapper was a different color. I stopped him because it wasn't latex-free, and he said it was a mistake and just an older one he had. We have been dating for over 2 years, and he knows how serious my allergy is. My EpiPen, which I keep in my room, is missing, and I didn't realize it until I was searching for my money. Another odd thing is, one day he was following me down the stairs while I was carrying laundry, and he kicked the back of my leg and I fell. He said he slipped, but the stairs are wood and he was wearing his steel toe boots. At the time, I thought it was an accident. Am I overthinking this? My anxiety has been at an all-time high. Do I watch too much true crime? Here is why I think I might be the jerk. We have a good relationship. He loves my daughter like she is his. We split all shared bills, and we both pull our own weight around the apartment. We don't fight. He has never so much as raised his voice at me. We are paycheck to paycheck, but bills are paid. I thought about going to my mom's house for a few days and asking him about the money once I got there and was safe, but I don't have the money to do that now. She is on a fixed income and can't help. I feel stupid for being scared. Last night, I decided to check his car for my wallet, and he caught me. I asked him for my money back, and he tried playing dumb. I told him my daughter saw it there. He told me she was lying. I told him I never told her about the money or what wallet. He said he was a grown man and kids lie all the time. I asked him once more for my money, and he said, "I'm not giving you money to leave me." I waited until he was in the shower to grab my cat and my daughter, and we left. I can't take my cat with us to a shelter, and the DV shelters are full. I was able to get us a night at a cheap motel. This exact situation is why I had money saved. I did everything right, and now I'm screwed. I feel like I just blew up my entire life. Update 4 days later. The day after we left, he sent me a picture of my EpiPen and tried telling me it was in my nightstand the whole time. I tore that room apart looking for it, so I know for a fact it wasn't there. He took it. He tried getting me to come back, telling me I scared myself stupid and watched too many true crime shows. Something didn't feel right, so I told him to put my money and EpiPen in the mailbox. We went back and forth, and he denied having my money. He then said, "If we broke up, you and my daughter, are no longer allowed in my apartment, and will be treated like trespassers," and sent me a picture of his target practice sheets. I went to the police about the money and was told it was a civil issue. I was upset but wanted the rest of my stuff, so I asked for an escort. Yesterday, I finally got an escort into the apartment with a cop and my landlord. He destroyed everything of my daughter's, and he ruined the laptop charger I use for work. No EpiPen. My daughter's medication and backup medical supplies were ruined. Our landlord let me off the lease without having to pay an early termination fee, which is great considering I have no money. Motels are expensive. I don't want to get rid of our cat. All shelters are full, and this is scary as hell. I'm sorry this is a crappy update, but I know people wanted it. Second update 6 days later. I just updated 5 days ago, but this will be my final update because there's nothing anyone can do. I was encouraged to go back to the police station after my last update. On Saturday, December 9th, I went back again. This time, I printed out the threatening text messages, including the target practice sheets he sent. I explained in detail about the accidents, proving he was trying to hurt me, and I even had my landlord put in writing that he believed our lives were in danger after seeing everything I was showing the police and let me leave my lease early. I brought in the destroyed medical supplies and medications. The police said they had already talked to him and that he denied doing any of it. He told them my daughter probably destroyed her own stuff because she is special ed. She has very mild Asperger's, but she doesn't destroy things. Since it was his word against mine, they believed him. I didn't have proof he stole the money or that it even existed in the first place. I was told the EpiPen was my responsibility and that they won't do anything if it's lost. I was told to let it go and was treated like I was bothering the police with my petty civil issues. I am so defeated and angry. My daughter isn't going to have gifts for Christmas because I have to save for a new deposit on an apartment. We've been staying in motels while I've been reaching out to DV resources. I can't get help without a restraining order or police report. Every place is out of funds. He's getting away with everything, and I'm so glad we got out because there is no doubt in my mind he would have gotten away with my murder. I know this sounds like my last update, but that's what happened. Nothing new. No justice. No repercussions for him. He gets to stay in the apartment. My landlord offered me another unit across town, but I can't afford to move in. This exact situation is why I had money stashed away, because no one has ever cared about me or us, and I knew that. There's nothing else I can do. Third update 2 weeks later. A lot of people wanted an update, so here it is. On Christmas, he slashed my tires, knowing I would have to pay out of pocket to replace them, which I don't have. Today, he threw a heavy patio chair through the window of the place we were staying at to let me know he knew where we were, and I was asked to leave for everyone's safety. Except my daughter and I aren't safe. I walked in the sleet and snow with my daughter and our cat, and I felt vulnerable and like open prey, so we came back to the police station to sit in the lobby until morning. Shelters are still full, and I now have to disclose that he is dangerous anywhere we go. Police couldn't find him, but I know he has to be close. I don't know what his end game is. Fourth update 4 days later. I checked everywhere I could think of and still couldn't figure out how he was tracking us. I blocked him on everything, including email, after he sent me pictures of his target practice sheets, among other things. I got a cheap burner phone. My daughter was out of school for winter break, so he didn't follow her or anything. I checked my car for a tracker. Still nothing. I do not have an iPhone, so I couldn't check whatever app an AirTag is attached to. My cat is harness trained and wears a collar, but there was no tracker. Until today. I decided to feel up, sorry, only way I can describe it, the carrier. I ran my fingers over every inch of it and felt a bump on the bottom soft side. There was no new stitching or obvious cut. He had to use a seam ripper along the stitching. It was undetectable, and I almost missed it. He had to have had help because I've never seen him sew anything, probably the same person who is letting him hide now. If his excuse for the AirTag was to track my cat, he would have put it on his collar or harness, because that's what he wears when we go on walks or car rides. My cat would never go in his carrier unless I was planning on leaving for more than a few days. I have no idea how long it has been there, nor do I know how far the tracker works, but now we aren't safe where we are, again. I feel disgusting and I feel like hunted prey. This is so unnerving and I'm so uncomfortable. Who the F was I living with? Fifth update 1 week later. I'm hoping this update will make everyone as happy as it makes me. I was finally granted the restraining order. And we get the keys to our new apartment on the 11th, a place I can afford monthly, and it comes partially furnished. It's in a super safe area, right by my daughter's school. There is security. We'll be living in our car until then, and of course, it has to be snowing. But we are together, and we have our kitty. This nightmare is almost over. Sixth update 3 weeks later. This morning, he found me. I've been sick as hell, so after I dropped my daughter off at school, I went straight home. I didn't drive around to make sure no one was following me. I messed up. He broke my nose and shattered my orbital bone. He is in jail. Sorry for this update, you all. 7th update 2 weeks later. He was with me to get to my daughter. It all makes sense now. If you need more context, please read my past posts. In my first post, I said how we had a normal relationship. He was never abusive, never controlling, never raised his voice. The money he ended up stealing was money I had hidden since before he even moved in. I wasn't hiding money to get away from him. I wasn't afraid of him. I lost my sister to DV and swore I'd never end up in that situation. Only to find myself in the exact same one. We didn't have some spectacular love filled with insane chemistry, it was nowhere near a love of my life situation, which is why I was so confused by how desperate he got. After he got arrested, his mom went on a social media rant because I got her baby locked up and knew we were sleeping in my car. She told her followers that if they saw me, they should call her. Very bold and insane. One of my ex's friends saw this and commented, "I don't know if you should be sticking up for him, he needs serious help." I don't know how I caught it before it was deleted, but I reached out to him on my fake Facebook. He told me that every time they were drinking, my ex would talk about her, then laugh it off. It made his friends uncomfortable, but they chalked it up to the booze. 2 weeks ago, when my daughter came to see me in the hospital, she was distraught. It made sense, because I looked like hell, but she kept repeating over and over, asking why he did this to me. I think there was more to it, and I'm frightened to my core. Remember, he stole my EpiPen and money, but he destroyed her things, her medicine, her clothes. I didn't understand it because she had nothing to do with the breakup. Why did he destroy her medicine? Why did he destroy her clothes? Effing why? Don't abusers threaten their victim into staying silent by saying something will happen to someone they love? I'm sick to my stomach even writing that out. I don't know where to go from here. How do I even begin a conversation about this with her? We are safe. I'm not worried about him finding us right now because he's still in jail, which is a relief, because I'm out of money. But now I understand, he wasn't desperate and crazy because he was losing me. I think it was because of her. 8th update 4 days later. My ex is getting bailed out tomorrow. I'm so angry and scared. I wish I had faith in the justice system and in the cops, because they're supposed to protect, right? Except that isn't always the case. I'm tired of being hurt, and I'm tired of being scared. Anxiety is at 100. It's exhausting fearing for my daughters and my life. 9th update 2 weeks later. A quick summary of what my ex has done prior to this: he possibly poisoned my soup, tried to send me into anaphylactic shock while hiding my EpiPen, stole my get-out money, broke a motel window trying to get to us after we left, made inappropriate comments about my daughter to his friends, hid a tracking device in my cat's carrier, and ignored a restraining order, which resulted in me having a concussion, a broken nose, and a shattered orbital bone. I know this is all I post about, and if you want more context, you can read my past updates. But I feel like I need to tell someone what's happening so it feels real, so I know I'm not just upset and crazy for nothing. My ex got out on bail last week. My daughter and I already left the new apartment we had moved into after he attacked me. My daughter's school knows about our situation and the restraining order. Today, my daughter got a call from the front office at school. The secretary told her the pickup car had changed from mine to a new car. She was being told this so she wouldn't be alarmed when she didn't see my car at dismissal. The new car matched my ex's, same rear model, same color. My daughter told me she knew it was his. She didn't say anything to the secretary or her teacher because she was instantly scared. It breaks my heart that she felt that fear, thinking he had already gotten to me and was coming for her. She got this message hours before school let out, and she spent all that time terrified. In the last 10 minutes of the day, when the kids are allowed to clean up and go to the bathroom, she started crying in front of her whole class. When the bell rang, she refused to leave the room. I was in the carpool line when her teacher called me. I've never seen her that upset, and that says a lot because she was shattered when she saw me in the hospital. Her face was beet red, she was hyperventilating, snot everywhere. She had cried so hard she gave herself a nosebleed. After they told me what happened, I was livid. It sounded like complete BS. The secretary never should have passed along a message without contacting me first, especially since she said it was a male voice on the phone. As soon as she looked my daughter up to find her classroom, she should have seen the note I thought was in the system, that no one but me is ever allowed to pick her up. No information should ever be released. They told me, he was never in contact with her, so it's not that big of a deal. It was a mistake. That's what they told me, with a straight face, while the bruises on my face and body are still visible. He is a violent man. All he had to do was give her full name and grade to get a message to her. That's it. I'm so effing angry. My daughter told me she knew I didn't get a new car because, as much as I try to hide it, she knows I'm broke. She thought she was going to have to go with him. She's been traumatized over and over, and I don't know what to do. She wants to switch to e-learning now, but because it's not for medical reasons or a school-wide restriction, we'd have to pay to rent the laptop. Which I obviously can't afford. The school is calling it an innocent mistake and hasn't even apologized. I know I'm the only one responsible for our safety, but damn, if people could just stop jeopardizing it like it's nothing, and then act like I'm the jerk for being upset because it was just a mistake. He wasn't there after school. But he could have been. 10th update 3 weeks later. I've had a few people asking, so I wanted to update. I can now confidently say that my daughter, Kat, and I are safe, and will continue to be from here on out. I can finally start rebuilding without fear. I'm not okay, but we are safe. 11th update 3 weeks later. I've spent the last 4 months running for my life. I just want to say that if anyone is going through something similar to what I am, you can vent to me. This is something you have to experience to understand how hard it is. I know there are DV resources, but they are extremely limited. I had someone on here checking in with me, and when I explained what was going on, I was asked, "Why aren't you stable yet?" And it kind of took me off guard. Only a few people knew I was pregnant through this. I left my home with basically nothing and went to a hotel, and he found me. I went to another hotel, and he found me. I went to a safe house for 2 nights, where I was asked to leave because my ex was dangerous. I slept in my car with my daughter, went to my mom's out of state, came back to my home state because that's where DV Resources helped with an apartment. He followed me back to my apartment from my daughter's school. I was hospitalized when he broke my nose, shattered my orbital bone, and gave me a concussion. I had to leave that apartment, went back to hotels and sleeping in my car, and finally ended up back at my mom's. So much money feels wasted. I have the opportunity to be added onto her new lease, but it's a bigger unit and requires a first/last deposit, impossible unless I rob a bank. The pet deposit is already paid. But I only have until the 1st, or we are back to living in the car because we've exceeded our visitation days. A year lease where my rent would only be $500 a month, utilities maybe $150? I'd be saving so much money and be able to rebuild my life. We would all have our own rooms, which means privacy. Even though we are all female, privacy is precious. I haven't slept in a bed since the hotel beds, but even then, it wasn't my bed. It's been my car, hotel bed, or the couch. Even when we were briefly in our new place, I still slept on the couch with it pushed against the front door. I know all my posts are about the same thing, one thing after another, and yes, it is exhausting and repetitive, but think about how I feel. I'm desperate for stability, and I can't get it because he took so much from me. It wasn't until I was out of our house and away from him that I could see how much power he had over my life. It's embarrassing. Even if I have to go back to living in my car, I'll still be around to talk, and I'll still be optimistic because I deserve good things to happen to me that aren't only in my dreams. 12th update 1 month later. The vet gave my abuser my location. I want to say this was a genuine mistake and not done with malicious intent, but I still need to vent about it. Just like my daughter's school letting my abuser give her a message, this was an accident, but accidents put my life in danger, and I'm exhausted. I post about my situation a lot, and despite a few users thinking my ex would find my Reddit, I'm not worried about that. However, I am terrified of him knowing where I am. He has gone through a restraining order, police don't scare him, and when he gets arrested, he'll just get bailed out. I knew the only way I could live a normal life was by getting as far away from him as possible. So I took my daughter and cat and moved in with my mom a few states away. I was 100% confident that he didn't know where I was because they never met. We were actually estranged for a few years before my ex and I even got together. I started feeling safe. I stopped jumping when I heard loud trucks. I was starting to get comfortable, even though not a lot of time had passed. A few days ago, my cat's back leg stopped working, and he lost control of his bodily fluids. I was working, but my mom rushed him to the ER vet. There were questions she couldn't answer, so they asked if he was chipped. He is, but I've changed my number a few times lately, so one of the 2 numbers was out of service. They called the second one. I forgot to remove his number. I know this is my fault. The vet called him to get information, and he didn't give any and hung up on them. The receptionist said he called back about 5 minutes later and said, "I know she doesn't have money. Tell her I'll save her cat if she comes home." He knows how much my cat means to me. He found me the first time I left because his mom helped him sew an air tag into the lining of the cat carrier. He knew if I was ever to leave him, I wouldn't leave my cat. One time, my ex threw him out of the house to hurt me while I was at work. He refused to leave the porch. My ex then tried squirting him with a water bottle, and when that didn't work, he sprayed him with a hose. He basically got waterboarded and still would not leave. He is my soul cat. When I got to the vet and they told me what happened, I had one of the worst panic attacks I've had in a while. I've had my cat for 10 years, and he has never gotten sick or injured. He has a UTI and a fractured foot from falling. The vet thinks he probably hurt his foot first, and that led to the UTI since he wasn't using the litter box. I noticed he was slightly limping a few days ago, but I couldn't get him into the vet yet. The UTI developed quickly. I was naive in thinking the vet would save a pet's life even if the owner can't pay upfront, but it isn't like a human going into the ER. I've spent so much money and time trying to get away from my ex while also trying to live a normal, safe life for my daughter. Once again, something happens, and he now knows the city we are in. I'm not running again because I can't. I don't think he will drive up here, because like I said, I'm a few states away, but man, did this bring back my paranoia and irrational fear. I changed the chip information, but the damage is done. I was a effing idiot for not doing it sooner. This is my fault. I'm so damn tired. 13th update 1 month later. I've never felt so humiliated and embarrassed. My daughter and I walked to our local food pantry. It was really hot, so we stopped at McDonald's across the street to cool down with free ice water, and she got a hamburger. We crossed the street to the pantry and filled out the form needed to get assistance. I wish I had taken a picture of it so I would feel less like a choosy beggar jerk. It asked about dietary restrictions, allergies, if anyone had a birthday coming up, whether we needed household essentials, and what feminine products were preferred. It also asked why we needed help, and I just put down rebuilding my life and unexpected vet bills. There was a spot for special requests, so I put less canned goods please. I did that because we had to carry the box back home, and it was about a 6-mile walk. We don't have bus passes. The woman running it took my sheet and immediately had an attitude. "Oh, you got McDonald's, huh?" she said, looking at our cups. I told her it was just water, and she just rolled her eyes. She asked whose birthday was coming up and if it was for a boy or girl, and I said it was mine on Tuesday. I genuinely didn't know it was only for kids because it said household birthdays. She told me, grown adults don't get birthday kits, and again rolled her eyes. She then asked me how many tampons I wanted, and I asked my daughter how many, and she very loudly said, "The tampons are for your daughter? She is too young for those, I'm not giving her tampons." I wanted to try and explain that pads are miserable in the summer since we have no AC and my daughter prefers tampons, but I just said, "Okay, pads then, thank you." She walked away to fill our food box and yelled, "How serious are your restrictions? Are they actual allergies, or do you just not like it?" I told her whatever she gave us was great because I was so humiliated I just wanted to leave. She handed us a box full of cans, no exaggeration, like 30 cans of random food items, and dumped Halloween candy on top. She then asked if we needed any pet food, and I said no, I didn't check that box, and she responded with, "Oh, your shirts are both covered in some kind of pet hair." I just said, "My cat just died." She then said I could only come once a month but that she was sure I'd have my life rebuilt by then, basically mocking what I wrote about why I needed help. The entire walk home, I cried, which I'm glad about because it was so hot my tears just looked like sweat. We had to toss our water cups because it took both of us to carry the box home. I get that there are people who take advantage of pantries, but good lord, was I asking for too much? Why would they ask those questions on the form if the person putting the box together is just going to give whatever they want? It's 2024, and women are still shaming other women. So disheartening. 14th update 1 month 2 weeks later. Today my daughter Z told me that this summer was the worst summer of her life. I agreed with her. Every single day, she has walked to the library with me so I can work my full-time job until I can afford home internet, and the air conditioning is a huge plus. She keeps herself busy helping the librarian or reading, but I know it isn't what she wants to be doing. Z told me she misses her old life back home. She misses good meals and being able to get whatever snacks she wants at the grocery store. She misses making her bed. We are still sleeping on glorified dog beds on the floor. She misses riding her bike. She misses our cat, who recently passed, and I do too. I miss it all too. She then said, "Tim, my ex, didn't hurt you until after we left, and that's why he got mad. If we go back and promise not to leave, can we?" I never told her about the accidents that were happening that made me leave. I had to explain how he hid my EpiPen and started using condoms I was allergic to. I told her about him poisoning my soup. I told her about the money he stole. I'm ashamed to admit that if he was just hurting me, I would go back. Everything is so effing hard, and it feels like it'll take years to rebuild and give my daughter the life she deserves. Except he wasn't just hurting me, he was after her. I had to tell her that after we left, one of his friends told me how he would talk about her. How obsessed he was and how he was waiting until she was 18. Having to answer her questions, why would he like me like that? He is way old. He knew me when I was a little girl, he was like my dad. I'm not a woman yet like you, was so hard. It was a very mature and emotional conversation. No amount of money would ever make me go back. I'm sharing this as a frustrated vent, but also in case someone is being hurt and doesn't want to leave because it feels like you can't. Your kids are going to be mad. It's going to be so effing hard, impossible, some days. There is nowhere near enough help for what you will need. Losing everything is devastating. I won't say it gets better, because I don't believe it will anytime soon, but I do know it won't get worse. There is nothing worse than living with someone who is hurting you, or, even worse, hurting your kids. 15th update 6 days later. My previous post got a lot of comments, and there were a lot of people who wanted an update. I got very defensive in my original post, and there were so many nasty comments and DMs that I almost deleted my entire account. The nasty comments saying that because I'm poor, I'm too stupid to teach her were uncalled for. Someone even said that based on how I write my posts, it's proof I shouldn't teach her. This is just effing Reddit. I'm not stupid just because I'm poor right now. Rebuilding from nothing is hard. I was never not going to enroll her, nor was I going to be the one teaching her. I found out a few days ago that I would have to pay an out-of-district school fee if I went forward with e-learning. I found a way to get the internet paid for, but not that fee. I did a lot of thinking and decided to ask Z what she really wanted to do. At her last school, my ex was able to get a message to her, which really freaked her out. But we're states away now. She wants to go to school. Her new school also has a school resource officer, so that helps ease my fears a little. I know this sounds horrible, but I had to ask her if she just wanted to go to school for the new clothes. Every year prior to this, we've always gone shopping. She's obsessed with cute school supplies, and I didn't want her to think I would be able to do that this year. Yes, she needs clothes because we left with what we could grab, but it has to wait. And yes, I'm still worried she's going to be bullied for wearing ill-fitting clothes, but if she says she doesn't care, I'm going to trust her. I feel horrible for sending her without being prepared because school starts Monday. We missed all the back-to-school giveaways in our area, but again, I'm going to trust that everything will be okay. She told me it was fine because she just wants to go to school and make friends again. I really miss being around people was enough for me. The only thing a child should spend their childhood doing is learning and making friends, not being afraid and hidden away. You all can put your pitchforks down. I'm hoping I'm not the only one who is feeling guilty because this economy sucks. 16th update 1 month later. This post is going to be me venting and yapping about the same stuff all my posts are about, and is a proof of life update. Yesterday, I went to get some public assistance. My landlord raised the rent for September, and to be honest, I still need so much help. I was 20 minutes in before the woman started berating me, practically interrogating me as to why I moved so far away from home. The way she was talking made it sound like she thinks I'm taking some extravagant vacation, that I moved so far by choice. I'm starting to realize that the majority of people don't understand how it feels to have someone try or want to kill you. It sounds so dramatic, right? I know if I see him again, he will not hesitate to take my life. The questions and things she was saying were, why don't you go back home? Why don't you just apologize? Why don't you just drop the charges? Maybe you need to put aside your feelings so your daughter gets what she needs. You can't just play nice until this all blows over? Good mothers make sacrifices. I got denied help, and I'm pissed. I can guarantee he has never been asked, why didn't you just break up with her if you hated her so much? Why did a grown man damage private property during a temper tantrum? Why did you prey on her daughter? Why can't you just move on? What right did you have to steal her hard-earned money? I had a panic attack so bad after leaving empty-handed that I had to lay down in the grass next to the parking lot and grip the grass. I can't do this. The only way I'm getting out of this horrible cycle is if I had a month's worth of expenses saved. I started a new job, but the checks aren't coming when I need them to. My cost of living isn't even that crazy. The money I had saved was the equivalent of multiple months of expenses, and he stole that. He stole everything. My peace, my sanity, my well-being, my happiness, my life. And got away with it. I am miserable. Completely heartbroken. Defeated. 17th update 1 week later. I post a lot about my situation, but I haven't been totally transparent about everything. I'm not fully processing everything, so I thought letting a bunch of strangers know might somehow be therapeutic. A year and a half ago, my sister died. She had pneumonia, and by the time someone realized how sick she was, it was too late. She was nonverbal, and the nursing home she was at had been neglecting her. It's almost too much to even try to talk about because I feel like I failed her. Then, last November, my Grammy died. Everything good was because of her. Then my boyfriend tried poisoning me, and all the innocent accidents I was having finally made sense. Hiding my EpiPen, switching out the condoms I was allergic to, accidentally pushing me down the stairs, finding my emergency money and stealing it so I couldn't leave. I have many posts about him. He took a leave of absence from his job so he could literally hunt me and my daughter down. 3 separate times he found us, and each time, the consequences got worse: concussion, broken nose, shattered orbital bone, broken teeth. I was going to go back to him because I couldn't afford to live without him, and I was pregnant. I get a lot of backlash for constantly posting about what my ex did to me, but this is the only way I can talk about it. I figured as long as he didn't hurt my daughter, it was okay. Then came the "I don't know how to tell you this" message on Facebook from one of his friends, Josh. He was obsessed with my daughter and would constantly tell his friends, "I can't wait until she is 18. I knew I had to leave and stay gone, so I moved a few states away with her and my cat to my mom's. Josh kept my ex occupied for 2 days so I could get away without worrying about being followed. 3 days ago, Josh died in a car accident. I so badly want to pay my respects at his funeral. Hug his mom and look her in the eyes and tell her that her son literally saved us. But I can't. Not only can I not afford to go, but I know that if my ex sees me, he will not hesitate to end my life. I'm not exaggerating or being dramatic. There is no, maybe he wouldn't do anything, or it's been a few months, he probably moved on, or I doubt he's going to risk his freedom killing you. He will. My aunt died on my birthday in June. My soul cat had to be put down. I miscarried. Another friend died in August. This all sounds very extreme, like a bad country song or something, but I've been taking the lows with the hope that things will get better. Last night, my daughter wanted to use a DoorDash gift card she won from the library. I didn't know a picture was taken at delivery until I saw it. I look so bad, it took me by surprise. My arms and legs are nearly the same size. I look like a skeleton. Pale and sunken in. This is the worst I've ever looked, even when I had my severe ed. I don't know if I just never noticed or didn't care to acknowledge it. The only clothing I have is winter clothes, so I'm always covered up. My underwear started getting baggy, but I thought it was just because they were old and worn out. I keep coming up with an excuse every time something goes wrong, or I tell myself, everything is fine, just keep going. But it isn't okay. A DoorDash picture is my wake-up call. How pathetic is that? I'm not handling things as well as I thought. To top it off, today my daughter said she hated me. She's never said anything like that before, but I get it. I uprooted her from the only life she ever knew. Her entire summer consisted of going to the library every day so I could work. I wanted her to do e-learning instead of going to school in person because I knew there were going to be things she wanted to do but couldn't. I know how selfish that is of me. Her homecoming is this weekend, and I had to tell her she can't go. I sound like a broken record, but I can't afford it. I'm starting to hate myself too, so I don't blame her. I know life will go on, and she'll have other dances, but trying to get her to understand is hard as hell. Living is hard as hell. 18th update 1 month later. I don't know why I'm posting this, and I can't believe I'm typing this, but my mom died. My mom died. My mom died. My mom died. No matter how many times I say it, it doesn't look like real words. I don't know if I thought she was going to live forever or if I thought I would be going first, but to say I'm shocked is an understatement. It feels illegal? She took her life late Friday/early Saturday morning, but I didn't find her until Sunday night. I was working all weekend, and I'm grateful my daughter wasn't home, and that she wasn't with me when I found her. We lived together. My mom was my best friend. My Z and I have been living in our car the past few days. I can't be inside until the crime scene cleaners come. I never thought I'd ever say that in my entire life. I didn't know she was struggling, and I just can't comprehend how not okay she must have been. I can't stop thinking about the bond we had and how in sync we were. But how can I say that now? I didn't see it. I failed. I begged the EMTs to tell me what hospital she was going to, even though I knew it was too late. In the past 2 years, I've lost my sister, my grandma, my aunt, 2 good friends, a miscarriage, my soul cat, and now my mom. I really hope it's not possible to die from a broken heart, because I need to be here for Z. Sorry this post is all over the place. I have so much more to say, but for now, everything feels heavy. I don't know if I believe in the afterlife or anything, but I can physically feel that there is less love for me on earth. How is she just gone? I keep looking at my phone, waiting for her to text me to come pick her up from the hospital. Just waiting. 19th update 1 month later. It's almost been a month, and I just can't understand that I'll never see my mom again. I know a lot of people don't have good relationships with their mom, but my mom was my person. During COVID, we didn't see each other much, and my ex was a jerk who manipulated me into not seeing her as often as I'd like, but after he tried to kill me, I took my daughter and went home to her. We finished each other's sentences and always knew what the other was thinking. People called us twins because our mannerisms, the way we talked, the way we walked, and the way we looked were identical. She was everything. I don't know if any of that is even really true, because how did I not know she was struggling? She was dead in her room, and I had no idea. That's still so terrifying to me. She took her life late on a Friday night. She had told me she thought she was getting COVID and was going to self-isolate in her room for the weekend. My daughter was with a friend for the weekend, so I thought she just wanted some privacy and rest. On Saturday, I woke up and took a shower before work, same routine as always, and she was already gone by that point. I can't help but wonder, did she die instantly, or was she still alive? I got home later that night, took another shower, and just went to bed because it was the first weekend in months I didn't have my daughter. I sleep on a futon in the living room, and I'm a light sleeper. I swear I heard her in the kitchen at one point, but I was told later that it was impossible, she was already gone. I didn't know she was dead. I know I keep saying that, but it just freaks me out. Sunday, I woke up and was almost late for work. Her door was still shut, and I was already running behind, so I just told her bye through the door. I got off work late that night, had a crappy shift, almost ran out of gas on the way home, and knew I needed to get groceries before Z came home since I'd missed the food pantry. I knocked on her door to see if she had any cash, quarters, anything, and to check if she was feeling better. I told her, I have a mask on, don't worry. I just want to sit on the bed with you. Sitting on her bed with her had always been a huge comfort for me, ever since I was a kid. It was home base. A judgment-free zone. When I was sick, being in her bed always made me feel better. As soon as I opened the door, I saw her in bed, and I started screaming. In under 2 seconds, I was calling 911. All I saw was blood. I was screaming, he killed her. He effing killed her. To the dispatcher, who told me to get out of the apartment because he might still be inside. I was screaming that I couldn't leave her and that I needed to do CPR. I thought my ex had found us and killed my mom. I can't describe how that felt. Fear and immediate guilt. I went to pull her off the bed and slipped on all the blood. It didn't register that the blood was hers. I thought he somehow shot my legs out from under me and I'd pissed myself. Pure, raw fear. As I was getting up, I saw the note in her ring next to her. It wasn't him. It felt like time stopped. I don't remember anything else until I was begging the EMT to tell me what hospital she was going to and that they needed to take her purse and her shoes. It was clearly too late. All the noise I was hearing was me screaming, because then it was just silence. I was standing in the living room with blood and piss all over me. I don't know how long I stood there until I got a text that kind of knocked me back to reality. My daughter was on her way home. I needed to change, and I needed to shut my mom's door. I don't know why, but I started taking pictures of her room. I know that's disgusting, but I needed proof this happened. That might not make sense, but I've gone through so much in such a short period of time, I needed to make sure it was real. I don't remember much after having to tell Z that Grammy was gone. We slept in the car for about a week because I couldn't be in the apartment until it was cleaned. Did you know that if someone dies, you have to pay to get it cleaned up or do it yourself? I didn't have money, so I tried, but I just couldn't. Calling a crime scene biohazard cleaning team is something I never thought I'd have to do. In the last 2 years, I've lost my sister. My grandma. My aunt died on my birthday. I had a miscarriage. I lost my soul cat. And now, my mom. I didn't have anyone to call and tell, because my daughter is all I have left. I don't want to be told they're all in heaven waiting for me. That's not comforting. Why are they all together? It feels like I'm left out or missing out or something. Her attitude never changed. She didn't stop eating. She was still taking care of her hygiene. She wasn't moody or mean. She was still cracking jokes on Friday. What are the signs to look for after that? Growing up, I remember loving the ring she always wore. I try it on and think, I can't wait until I get this. But not like this. I almost don't want it. In her note, she said for me to sell it, which hints she was stressed about money. But that couldn't be it, right? I'm still so scared and uncomfortable that she's gone, and how horrific it was to find her. If you're struggling, can you please say something to someone? I won't ask that you stay, but just tell someone. Please. 20th update 9 months later. On November 23, 2023, I made a post questioning whether or not I was the jerk for believing my daughter. I was ignorant and naive for second-guessing myself. I've posted updates since my original post, but here is a little TLDR of everything that has happened since I left. He hunted us like animals, and he had help doing so. I had to break 2 different apartment leases after he found us. He violated restraining orders. I was hospitalized twice after he got violent. We slept in the car on and off for weeks after leaving. I was asked to leave shelters for the safety of everyone else. I eventually had to flee the state after he started targeting my daughter at her school. My mom and cat died. In March of this year, my daughter got MRSA down to the bone in her left foot and had to amputate it. She bravely testified against him, and some of the things that emerged were things she had hidden from me. He is a monster. She is probably going to have to do e-learning again this year. But this time, it isn't because I'm scared he's going to find her. He stole my safety nets, and I haven't been able to recover. On July 6th, our apartment flooded and was a total loss. We lost everything we had. He completely ruined me, but knowing he is going to sit and rot in a prison in Indiana for the next 12 years brings me so much peace. Last month, he was sentenced, and justice was actually served. I know my situation isn't unique, and I know firsthand how hard it is to leave and stay away. I should not have made excuses for the red flags and should have left sooner. I still get messages from women saying they would never leave their partner for their kids. Although no one in his real life believes he belongs there and thinks I'm the horrible one who ruined his life, I am not the jerk. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Is there any way you can bring a civil suit against him and get financial compensation for what he put you through? Ops response. He has court-ordered restitution to my daughter and me as part of his sentence. Just waiting is the hardest part. Commenter 2. Good God, this is terrifying. How much can one person, op and daughter, take? I hope you find the stability you deserve, and I'm so sorry that you've gone through all this. Did you ever find out if he had taken out a life insurance policy on you and was trying to kill you for that reason? Or just because he is an absolute deranged sociopath? I use that term loosely because I'm not entirely sure of the technical definition, so feel free to explain and correct me if you know. Ops response. Did you ever find out if he had taken out a life insurance policy on you and was trying to kill you for that reason? He was trying to get my daughter to himself. Won't go more into that, but he is sick.